Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And the Currie Cup is back. And it wasn't actually that long ago that we did have Currie Cup action back in September. However, it is a new year and with it comes a new format in terms of the time of the year. The Currie Cup will run from January through to June, which should be one of the longest Currie Cup campaigns we've watched in a long time. And it's going to be a very different Currie Cup because it will run in conjunction with the United Rugby Championship, which means that we will have 4 teams. You have to sort of field 2 teams a week. And that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting aspect to the tournament in terms of how the teams, the franchises that play in both the URC and the Currie Cup manage this sort of commitment, and whether they go with split squads, whether they shuffle their squad, and sort of how they sort of prioritize. Because you want to be competitive on both fronts. You know, obviously the URC deserves the most attention, but you also don't want to make sure that you are still competitive within the Currie Cup. In terms of the approach, as you'll see with the Bulls, they've gone with a very strong team. Whether that's a case of an indication of how they're going to use their squad or just a fact of trying to get players back on the park after a while. Whereas, for example, the Lions have come out and said that they're going to use split squads for the Currie Cup and the URC. Before we look at the 2 teams for tomorrow, the Bulls are travelling to Imombela Stadium to get the Currie Cup underway. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We will be live for it. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be live for all 3 Currie Cup games this weekend. Our live watch-alongs are back. We can really get the rugby year going this weekend and very much looking forward to that. In terms of the teams, this is how the Pumas will line up. A couple of players back from their loans from URC franchises. So really Engelbrecht, for example, is back and will lead the side. Eddie Forshire also back from the Lions. So if we look at the team for the Pumas, front row, Corne Ferreira, Edwin Swart, and Eche Prinsloo will start, and we'll hope to try and get that platform. I think they have to be very, very solid up front because that Bulls pack is very, very good. And you know, I think somebody like Corne Ferreira is someone who's been around for a long time and he wants to sort of take that next step up. We've seen some very good performances from him in the last sort of 12 months. But we want to try and see that consistency. He's been around the block, played a couple of different places as well. So he's been there, he's done that. Now he needs to sort of start leading from the front in a Pumas shirt. In the second row, Shane Kirkwood is going to be joined by Darren Landsberg. And then in the loose trio, we've got Daniel Martins, Kwesi Mafu, and Will Engelbrecht captaining the side in instead of RPD and Van who's not with the Pumas at the moment. In terms of the halfback combination, Giovan Sneeman is being joined by Tennis de Beer, who I think, you know, it's going to be under a lot of competition between him and Eddie Forshire. Eddie Forshire definitely probably, you know, having the run on him. But I feel like Tennis de Beer is a lot of potential that he hasn't quite sort of met. You know, there's a very good player in there that just needs to find a way to really bring out the best in him. The 2 centers will be Robbie Petzer and Sebastian de Klerk. The 2 wings will be Lungi Msenge and Tepiwe Mafura, who's a very hard-working wing. Obviously, look at physicality and obviously lots of pace. And then Devin Williams, who's a very good counter-attacking fullback, will start in the number 15 jumper. Off the bench, Llewellyn Klaasen, Ruan Kramer, and Simon Raw will be the replacement front row. Malembe Mpofu and Pumzile Makondwana will be the reserve forwards on the bench. And then Lucky Lepo is joined by Eddie Forshire and Alana Fasaki, who will provide the backline cover. You know, very nice to be able to have the experience of an Eddie Forshire coming on in the latter stages of the game. So a lot of depth there at fly half for the Pumas tomorrow night. But they have a very stiff task ahead of them because this is who the Bulls have selected. And it's a very strong side that will be captained by Cornel Hendricks, who is in the centres. Up front, Gerard Steenkamp and Jacques van Rooyen are joined by Johan Grobelaar, who spent a large portion of last year with the Springbok squads, but didn't officially get a cap, although I think that is a matter of time. Speaking of matter of time for Springboks, I think Ruan Nokia, him and Walt Steenkamp have been a very, very good and useful lock combination. I think Nokia is someone who's definitely pushing for higher honours. The loose trio is Jaco Labuschagne, Albert Lowe, and Arno Botha, which is pretty world class in terms of having Albert Lowe and Arno Botha there. So good to see interesting to see how Jaco Labuschagne does next to them. Very interesting also to see where Albert Lowe plays this season. He's pretty much played across the entire back row. He's played at blind side, he's played at open side, he's played at 8th man, and interesting to see if they're trying to sort of advertise his versatility or whether, you know, he wants to commit to a specific role or a specific position and really sort of push there to try and get that call up to the green and gold. The halfback combination will be Ambrose Pierre, who is back from a long-term toe injury, and I think somebody who could also be pushing for Springbok call up if he gets back to that form he had a couple of years ago. He will partner Chris Smith, who now has sort of full-time competition from Morne Stain, who is now retired from international rugby. No Johan Goosen, who's out for the long-term future. The base of the backline, Richard Creel and Madosh Tamwe will be the 2 wings. Richard Creel has a very nice skill set, decent turn of pace, and a very exciting young player. His brother David Creel is in the centres, and will partner Cornel Hendricks, who, as we know, is just making rugby look very, very easy. Madosh Tambwe, lots of pace, and he sort of brought a lot to his game. Very good in the air all of a sudden. Nice defender of the ball as well. And then Curtly Arendse, I don't think it gets much more exciting with somebody on the ball than Curtly Arendse, who will be starting at full back. Off the bench, Jan-Hendrik Wessels continues his hooker journey in the number 16 jersey. He is joined by Robert Hunt and Lizo Kobocha, who's also hoping for an extended run to try and get back into the international mix. Sintu Manjesi is back from a long-term injury, and good to see him playing there. He is joined by WJ Steenkamp, and they will provide the rest of the forward cover. Zach Berger, Shaun Mostert, and Stefan Gans will cover the back line. Very interested to see how Stefan Gans does. He's committed to the 15-man game, was tearing it up outside centre, but now seems to be sort of fallen a little bit down the pecking order whilst he was at Olympic duties. Now he needs to really put in a couple of eye-catching performances to try and get that number 13 jersey back. He's still got quite a few players. Lionel Poo's there now. David Creel playing outside centre a lot. So there's a lot of stiff competition there for Stefan Gans, but I've no doubt the youngster will step up and start to try and provide quite a big selection headache for all the Bulls coaches. So that's how the two teams do line up. You look at that and you think that the Pumas are going to in for a long night, but they are at home. And a Pumas side at home, Jimmy Stonehouse just has a habit of getting them to perform above, where they maybe should be on paper. So never write them off. It should be a very interesting game. We will be live for tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So do come and hang out with us all through the weekend as we can watch some South African rugby once again. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn your notifications on so that you're notified whenever one of our previews, our reviews, our live watch-alongs, all that comes out. You can get a little notification as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.